Tonight, we discuss a legacy sequel that shifts the white male protagonist to a support role and uplifts a black lead in Creed. Surprisingly, the internet does not hate this one. Joining us is someone who is no stranger to training their body to peak perfection.
Jason Cage here. Nice to be on the show. Been listening for a while.
I'm Matt.
I'm Chad, and you're listening to the 148th episode of your award winning podcast. We used to talk about this at work. All right, so we are back for another one. And let me tell you, we got another Brit on the show this week, Matt. And as a result, it is
Taking
super
over.
early in the studio for me.
And I appreciate that because when you were telling me we had to do this, I was like, we got to do this again. But when I found out his lifestyle, I was like, oh, maybe this might help me out too. So I was more intrigued now.
Okay. So this
Jack,
week
do you
we
want to? Sorry to interrupt. Do you want to tell them what time it is for you, just so they really understand?
yeah, it's 4 in the AM for me right now. What time is it for you, Matt?
It is 7:15 p.m.
Mhm.
on
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah. Well, it's Saturday for everybody. Jason, what time is it for you?
It's 10:15 in the morning
Right.
Saturday
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah. So we've got our guest Jason. So hey man, how's it going?
Good, really good. Really, really appreciate coming on. Actually, I've been listening to. Ironically, I've been listening to this at work as
Really?
we used to talk about.
I
Yeah, there
mean,
we
it
go.
it
Good
is very
job.
appropriate. Very appropriate.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Does it
Very good.
feel like, you're trying to work, at your computer and then just two jerks are like, yeah, so anyway, well, I was watching this movie and, just
Distracting.
few tests over. So yeah, so Jason, you yourself are also a content creator. Would you call yourself a fitness content creator? Like, how would you like describe yourself?
It's an interesting one. Yeah, I guess overall, but I've done fitness for years. Like I was a personal trainer for like well over a
Oh,
decade. So what I wanted to do with, I didn't just want to do another fitness page,
hmm
because I'm very much a huge geek
okay.
and a gamer as well. So I kind of wanted to speak to those kind of people because I feel like within games and different movies, different series, there's so much like motivational content, and I'd really growing up like me and my friends we used to watch it, but I was the only one getting pumped up by it. So we'd watch like say like Dragon Ball Z for example back in the day when it started over here over in the West, and I'd be like, oh, don't you just feel like you want to do something after that? And they're like, no, not really. Like it was good, but I was like, I don't get it. Like, and there's loads of other examples, but that's kind so that yeah, I guess overall fitness it's fitness related, but
hmm
it's got that geeky twinge to it, which I makes it more enjoyable for me, and hopefully reaches people that maybe need it as well. Hopefully,
So, okay, so you just mentioned that you were a personal trainer. Like, did you kind of
mm,
bring that energy into it? Like when you would have a client and you like, you I'm sure you didn't open with it, but like as you would
yeah.
like get to know your clients more, and you're like, oh, you
Mm.
like anime. Why don't you want to get built like name an anime a buff
Goku,
anime person?
Goku.
Sure.
I
Goku
guess
is the
that's
go-to.
that's a generic one, Goku.
Yeah. So like were
All
you
right,
bringing
Chad. All right, you did your job. All right.
To be fair, you could pick anyone in Dragon Ball Z. Really, like pretty much all the characters who have ever fought are all like Adonises. So it's a good, you know, it's a good
so
one to draw
so like
inspiration from.
but did you bring incorporate that when you were working as a personal trainer, or were you just keeping it just like bland and just like, all right, man, let's
Oh,
just well, or
yeah.
woman, whatever.
No, not all. If I got a sniff of that, I was all over it. I think when I was doing it years ago, someone had like a vest and it said Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It was the coolest thing. I've never been able to find it ever, but it was like Raphael's gym. It said, and it was a great like a picture of Raphael like doing the press or something. I was like, where did you get that from? That's amazing. So then obviously, yeah, we just jumped into that. So yeah, I wouldn't keep it. Once I knew that was great. But unfortunately, it didn't happen as often as I would have liked.
Okay. Well, that's
Right, and
unfortunate.
that's what I'm saying. It's, I believe, like, honestly, like, I approve of everything you're doing.
Thank
Like,
you.
going to the gym is a scary process, like, especially if you're brand new doing this,
Terrifying.
and if you can do it, like, and it's like, I don't want to say this. What you're doing is exactly what people need to, where it's like, you have like me. I'm all
Yeah.
into anime and everything else like that. It's like, all right, we about to open up a Pandora's box. Okay,
There we go. Let's
I,
jump in.
I'm embarrassed. I don't want to go to the gym and expecting, like, okay, I read some things on the internet and now they're telling me I need to do this, okay? And then I go to the gym and I may be doing this right or I may be doing this
Yeah.
wrong or
Yeah.
whatever like that. And I get that. It's like
Yeah.
we're all self-conscious of all the stuff we're doing.
100%.
And I just want to, like, I like the nerd culture of bringing this into this too, where it's like, Goku would do this, or my
Yeah.
favorite, Luffy would do this,
Uh,
and that helps people move forward into this thing to where get fit and everything.
yeah.
And
No, it's
so I appreciate what you're doing. I understand it. Like I like when I read up on you and your geek culture, I was like, oh, honestly, this is what we need, because there's a lot of people with me where, like, I used to be in the military.
yeah. I know.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
So no, I was because I've been listening to the show. Like I know that, so they must have trained you pretty hard there, surely.
Right. And I used to be in the military. I used to train and everything else like that. But even now that I'm out the military, I'm still subconscious of going to the gym, and
Yeah.
maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe I'm doing something wrong and everything else like that. But like you said,
Yeah.
when you deal with these characters, as far as your whatever you believe in and everything else like that, that helps you. That's the motivation that you need to move forward.
100%. And you know what? That's great, and I'm glad that you're getting a lot out of it. Because especially I think when you're starting something, because I haven't been well, I've been doing it long, but I don't have like a big following or anything like that. Certainly not. So sometimes you feel like
Not,
you're almost
not yet.
making.
Don't worry. After this, we got you.
Oh, cheers, right? I appreciate
Hopefully,
it.
hopefully, hopefully.
I appreciate it. No, it's really good. I really appreciate it because sometimes you feel like you're talking to yourself. Sometimes like you make content for yourself, but what you just mentioned there about using the characters as inspiration, what I didn't realize until you were just talking there was I think I've been doing this without knowing it before I even had a plan to make it anything. Just to help me. It helped me because I wasn't like a fit guy at school. Quite the opposite. I was probably the most unfit you could be, the shyest you could be. So I started literally from the bottom, but I didn't have anyone to help me because no one in my family really did anything fitness related at all. I was like the first one to really try and solve this problem, so I did everything wrong, and it was really hard. And sometimes you can work really hard in the wrong direction, which I hate. That's what I'm all about. Like, look, it's going to be hard, but at least have a solid plan that you know is going to
Mm-hmm.
work. That's I've
Yeah.
wasted because people always ask the same question a lot of the time anyway. They say, "How long have you trained?" Like that means something. I was like, "Well, quite a long time," but a lot of that time I was like, so
Right,
I wouldn't
right,
even
right,
count
right.
those years. So that's what I think I really bring to the table. Hopefully, for anyone that I can help, because I'm like, look, don't worry, mate. It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna work. I can attest to it because I've done it so many times for me
So,
and for other people.
so what made you want to be a content creator then? Like to,
Yeah.
expand your reach globally, if you will.
Do you know what? I didn't actually want to be a content creator because I didn't actually want to put myself out there in such a way. But
Okay.
I got to the point, which is ironic, I know. But I got to the point where I was like, I kind of have to. Like, I had this idea in my head for years, what I'm doing now. and I didn't know exactly what it would look like, but I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do. And I kind of have to do that. And I'll be honest, like every time that I've been really scared to do something, and I have done it, it's never been bad. So I thought, why am I so nervous about this? There's probably going to be something good on the other side of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so nervous. Like the first time I went to the gym, like Matt was saying, I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing the first time I had to take a fitness class in front of 30 people, and I didn't have a microphone. I had to just project my voice. I'd never done that in my life. I was terrified. I've got a funny story about that actually, if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. So the first fitness class I ever took, I was like absolutely terrified. I was taking a class of someone who was really popular instructor as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they all expected him to be there. And it was me. So instantly, about half the class just walked out the door. I was like, "That's a good start, right?" So that was good for morale. And then what happened was, walking up to the place. It took about 30 minutes, but I had old school. I had everything written down on paper, and it started raining. So
Oh
then
no.
I pulled out my notes, which were my lifeline, and all the ink had run. So I was like, oh no, what the hell's going on? So we started half a class now, and they couldn't hear me. I couldn't project my voice. Some of them walked out mid class,
Oh
and
wow.
but yeah, it was rough. It was rough. And for support, my dad came, and I was just like
Yikes.
looking at the yeah
Yikes. He's
yeah
like,
no
oh,
for
you
support.
you brought me here for this?
So disappointed in you.
Right.
No, to be fair, you appreciate how difficult it was. And he's like, "How are you doing after that?" I was like, "I don't know if I can do this.
Did
Like, I
did he
really
also walk out?
don't." Yeah, later at home, he said, "How did that go?"
So how long have you been making content?
Content. Do you know what? It's been longer than I thought. It's been longer than I thought. It's probably been about just over a year. But when I
Okay.
started, if you look, it doesn't look like it because I haven't done as much as I should have. But when I started, it was super broad. It was like superhero shape. There's loads of superheroes. It was like really super broad.
Mm-hmm.
And as I made more and I got to know what I like when it comes to, because as Matt was saying, like his favorite character is different than my favorite character. There's so many like geek and game culture. There's like it's huge, isn't it? It's
Mm-hmm.
massive. So you can't like everything. So then I kind of pinned down. I kind of like more retro-y things. I'm like maybe 80s to 2000s mid is my sweet spot. Maybe late
Mm-hmm.
2000s. It's like my sweet spot. So now I'm thinking a more retro-y geek than just a modern one.
I mean, but that's the thing too. Like with most, well, okay, with people that say I want to start a podcast or I want to start a YouTube page or whatever, but I
Yeah,
don't want to actually post anything because like I want it just right. And I always my main thing I tell people that want to like start creating content is just put stuff out there and you'll figure it out as you go. So like you, for
yes,
example, your first video I see is build a superhero chest. And that's,
yeah.
like a broad type of topic.
Who? Which superhero?
Right. But then like as you've been going along, then like you've been getting like more specific on like what you're talking about. Like your most recent video, get Resi Rip like Carlos, like and Carlos is from Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
He's only like made like a few appearances, so that's a niche character right there.
And so like yeah, like so it's all a process, right? Of like
100%.
you want to do something and like as you go, you're like I could like tighten that up in whatever way. Just like same thing with the exercise, right?
You beat me to it. That's the perfect. That's I was going to say. It leads just like exercise, and that's the perfect mindset that you've got there. That's perfect. And yeah, because people with exercise have come to me and they're like, "I need a personal training plan." I said, "No, you don't. You need to get used to doing exercise. You need to. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
a plan that you don't understand is not going to help you. So many people have just given me a program. I was like, you don't know what any of it is. Like you don't worry about program. Just get used to the habit. And start people off super small as well. Like really really
One,
easy.
I 100%. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
it's like they as somebody who used to work out. I
You're
know
gonna be working
exactly
out
what
from
you're
now
saying. Right. It's like it's easy to be like, hey guy, give me all the tools I need to do this.
Yeah,
But then also you need to get up. Like, I don't know your work schedule. You need to get up at X point of time, devote
yeah,
40, 45 minutes to do this and blah, 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 blah. And like
yeah,
honestly, like when Chad told me, I was like, oh, when you were gonna be the guest, I was like, oh yes. I was like, because I'm in the same boat as everybody else. It's like
yeah,
I want to work out. I know I need to work out,
yeah,
but it's just like I need that
Yeah.
push
yeah.
to constantly do things.
And maybe I might be assuming things. Hopefully, I'm not. But maybe what might help as well, Matt, is if you just had like a solid like routine that wasn't over the top, then it would be easier for you to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd be like, oh well,
Oh
I need
no,
to work out.
you're 100%. You
Yeah,
100% correct.
yeah, and that's kind of what I help people with, and myself as well. Like that's why I'm so consistent. It's not because I'm really different or anything. It's just like this is my plan. It's not over the top, and I know when and roughly I'm going to do it. Actually, you kind of go through phases with training. So the first phase usually is you hate it, you hate every second of it, it's awful. Then the next
Uh-huh.
phase is, oh, I don't mind this. I've kind of seen the benefits. It's not my favorite thing, but I'll do it. Then comes the obsessive phase, which sometimes I
Right,
slip back
right.
into, which isn't good either, which no one really talks about. And that's when you're so obsessed that you're hurting yourself, you're missing out on other life commitments and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like it's too much, and you feel crap because you're overtraining. Your body isn't recovering, and
Mm-hmm.
then usually, hopefully, after a little spell there, you find your sweet spot, and that's where I am now. So it used to kill me if I said I was going to train one day and I didn't. I'd just be thinking about it all day. I was like, oh, I should have
Yeah,
done that.
No.
I was
I
like, whatever,
should have worked out today. Yeah.
which can be a good thing, but to the extreme, it's not. So now I'm so tomorrow's another day. I'll do it tomorrow. Like, chill out.
So walk us through your process, like your creating process. Like
Okay.
in your most recent video, you know,
Yeah.
built yourself up like Carlos. So like
Yeah.
walk us from like I have this idea for this video to you hitting upload on YouTube.
Do you know what? I'd love to say it was like a really like specific process, but do you know how I think of my things?
How?
Usually just from what I'm playing or what I'm watching. So I was playing the Resident Evil like remakes, because when those games came out as a kid, I really wanted to play them, but they were really difficult and clunky,
Mm-hmm.
and but I liked the story and everything, but I could never finish them. So the remakes were perfect for me. So I played through two, and I thought of Leon, and I had the Leon idea in my head, and then I played through three, and I thought of Carlos, and so I find watch the movie or play the game, and there's maybe a certain scene or a certain aspect to it or a certain character, and I think, yeah, it's quite motivating to me. And then I think, okay, fitness wise, how would they train? How could I? And then so I think of how they possibly would train. If you were like a military guy and you're always on missions, you're not going to be having a go like Gold's gym membership, are you? Like it's just not
Right.
sustainable. So you're probably going to do more body weight. I thought, oh, perfect. So I can do that. Okay, how do I condense that into like a video?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll break it down into upper and lower. Okay, cool. How am I going to do that? All right, then I'll think of the exercise. Most of the exercises are just ones that I do, and then a few easier variations for people who are maybe just starting or restarting. So and that's it really. The process.
Oh no,
is
like honestly, like when I do my research on you, like I watch your videos and everything, and like you said, as somebody former military, I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, let me try this stuff out, and I'm old
Cool.
now, so I can't do it like I used to, but
It's
it's still
okay.
like some of the
Yeah.
upper body works I tried and everything, and I got my son. My son is 13 now, so
Oh, cool.
I had him do some things and stuff like that. No, like
Nice,
you're
nice.
on the right trail with this, and like
Thank
yeah,
you.
keep going.
No, I really pretty. It's nice to hear that because I've got a few like nice messages, on Instagram and stuff. But I've never had someone actually say it to me. Relatives don't count because they're just being nice.
Right, right.
Right.
They just being nice. No, like honestly, if I thought this was whack, I wouldn't have mentioned nothing. But I'm
You
letting
don't,
you know. I was like, right,
yeah.
I would have said nothing. I was like, oh, I see some things that was good, whatever, whatever. But I was like,
Yeah.
no. I was like, I saw it, and I was like, oh no, no way. This can help us. And I was like, my son 13. I was like, oh, we need to check this out because
That's cool,
you
man.
like we got to get in the fit and like
Yeah,
the little like everybody gotta go gym like you said or LA Fitness or whatever. Sometimes you gotta do things at home and things of that
yeah.
nature. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Thank you. No, I'm glad. I'm glad. And you hit on something that I wanted to talk about because it might make your journey a bit easier. Is when you said you can't do it like you used to. There's been loads of times where maybe I got injured or maybe I just stopped doing a certain type of training. You know, like maybe I just stopped lifting weights for a while and just did body
Mhm.
weight stuff. Okay, when now I'm going back into weights, I'm not thinking about what I used to do. I'm essentially starting from scratch, but I'm not really starting from scratch. And you'll find this, Matt. I guarantee it. That when you do maybe a few weeks, maybe a month or so, you aren't starting from scratch. Like it's still there.
Right, it'd be like riding a bicycle. It'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. I've been
You
riding
get
to
it
do
back.
this.
You get it
Yeah.
back quicker. Because everyone's really negative. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are really negative. They say, "Oh, I've lost it." You haven't lost it. Like it. What the truth is, if you've ever done it, it comes back a lot quicker. That's what people
Mhm.
don't focus on either. It's like I'm kind of trying to be I try to be a glass half full kind of guy.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
you
Optimist.
can focus on that negative bit, or you can. The other reality is that it's going to come back a lot quicker.
Right. And that's also like something with like my son where like I've
Yeah,
never really taught him. Like I've went through like I've worked out, I've done this religiously at a point at a point in my life, not right now, but I've done this religiously. It's like now where I'm slowly trying to bring my son into this. And like
right.
your videos and other videos, it helps to where they visually see this and they're like, oh, okay. Like
Yeah,
it's one thing if I tell my son, I was like, oh yeah, handlebar like this, and this. It's one thing, but if I'm like, he sees a video of yours, like, oh yo, Batman research and stuff like that
oh
to
man,
where
yes,
right, that helps him out. Oh, okay. Like even if the workout is completely the same, there's a simple name of Batman. Okay, I know who
yeah.
Batman is, and that helps him out. Oh, if I want to be like Batman, I need to be like this. So no, I completely understand what you're doing.
No, it's great. And like I said, I was probably doing that accidentally over the years because that's what pushed me. Because no one was pushing me. Because like I said, I didn't have anyone who in the family who did anything like this, so I had to push myself, and that's really hard. So that's what I was
Mhm.
doing without knowing it. So that's great though that you're getting your son involved because you get him. I wish I'd have started earlier. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, but do you
Oh,
know?
I wish I would have started earlier.
Yo, wish we started.
So on the topic of pushing yourself, you're also expanding into podcasts, Jason.
Attempting to, yeah, yeah. So I did the first episode last week though, which is great.
Right.
Because I think when you first start the podcast idea, I could have just done a podcast kind of similar to the content I'm doing, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted each thing to be different. So obviously Instagram is more like short form stuff, quick
Mm-hmm.
like reels and stuff. YouTube is trying to be more long form, and I thought for the podcast I don't just want to just monologue, you know. I wanted to get other people on who like minded, and that was really difficult to be honest because people obviously you don't really know who you are. You're just starting out. It's hard to get people on to be honest. But
Right.
I got a really awesome guy, Australian guy who's got like a retro gaming page on Instagram,
Ooh.
and I did the first episode with him,
Well,
and it
I'm
was
not
really
I'm not saying ooh because like ooh he's Australian. I'm saying ooh time zone, time zones.
yes, it was a challenge. It was a
Yeah.
challenge. Not as
was
challenging as your time zone though. I have to
Well,
admit.
it's only because we're doing three time zones. That's why.
yes, yes.
Yeah. No, to be fair, it worked out quite nicely because it turns out he's like an early bird. So it
Okay.
was really because I wasn't sure. You don't really know, do you? So it really worked well because he's up early. The Australian England time zone, it's almost 12 hours. I think it's like 11, something like that.
Well, that's not
But
too bad.
so I just stayed up a bit and he got up his usual time. So it was only like 10 p.m. for me. Pretty nice.
So
Something like that.
what do you so as the episode posted last week.
Yeah.
But when did you actually record it?
It was I recorded it last Friday, So and there was a few issues. Talk about like adversity, do you know, like overcoming adversity, which probably is like a bit of a theme, especially with the film that we're talking about as well. Everything the guy was super cool. Like he couldn't have been cool. I couldn't have picked a better guest. But there was some audio delays within the. I was using Podcastle, and he told me a really
Mhm.
much easier way to do it afterwards. But you know,
Right.
hindsight's 2020 and all that. So there was like a massive delay, like 5 seconds or something. So I had to edit like crazy over
Yikes!
the weekend.
Yikes!
It was
Yeah.
bad, man. Yeah, it was bad. And then on top of that, the last 10 minutes, which I thought were probably the best 10 minutes, they just didn't pick up his audio at all. There was some serious like
Yeah,
uh,
Wow.
that's kind of what happens, like, especially when it's two people that don't know each other. Like you're slowly warming up, and so like by the end of the
yeah,
show, like that's when you're clicking on all cylinders.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
10 minutes that go away. But I pieced it together. I threw some music in there and spent all weekend editing the time skips. And it turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. And once more, he does a podcast as well, which is about
Mm.
him and his mates. Like they review old games and see if they held up like they used to.
Okay, okay.
And so he kind of said, when I get rolling on this again, because he's had a bit of a delay on that, just life and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
said, I'm going to get back on this now, and I'd
Mm.
like you to come on to that. So that's cool. And
So
pick the
do
game.
you hope to do weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? What is your
Yeah,
hopefully what is your schedule for that?
I'd love to
Also,
do.
it also your show is called Millennial Muscle Presents the Laugh Plus Level Up Show, just in case anybody wants to check it out.
Yeah, because
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's
definitely check it out. I checked it out. Good tips out there.
thanks, man. Yeah, and that's the kind of what I wanted to do with it as well. I didn't just want to get like-minded guests on. I wanted to just because sometimes with fitness and stuff, people are so serious about it. Like, look, this is more, and this is what I wanted the content to be different as well. Because YouTube, Instagram, that's all very fitness focused. This is less so. It is
Hmm.
literally more about the guest and how they use the series, the games and stuff to maybe level up. Sometimes maybe just to cheer themselves up. You know, it doesn't all have
Yeah,
to be fitness related. And then
yeah.
right at the end, maybe we just touch on fitness, which got wiped out in that last one. So it was like it didn't work. But the guy did train as well, so that was lucky as well. But yeah, it's certainly not a requirement. It's really less about fitness. It's more about the media. But sorry to answer your question, Chad, as well about the. Sorry, what did
Schedule.
you say about?
Schedule.
Trying to,
Like how often do
oh,
you hope to
that was right.
post?
Yeah, schedule. Ideally, in the future, would it'd be nice to do one a week, but that's totally unrealistic right now. So maybe um, every fortnight would be nice because I have to get the guests on as well. And it's
Yeah,
early days.
so see, we're American. What's a fortnight?
Once a fortnight.
Yeah, we're American, man. We don't use those words unless you're talking about the game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's going to happen a lot. Probably, I'm going to use loads of colloquialisms that mean nothing to anyone outside my little my little town. Apologies for that. Yeah, 2 weeks. Two
Okay,
weeks would be nice.
every other week. Okay, I got you.
But no,
That's
I
not
was reading.
bad.
I like it's a good niche that you got, like
Thank
incorporating like the character, like
thank you.
I know Dragon Ball Z. All right, we'll skip Dragon Ball Z. Like Luffy,
No,
like for
there's loads
example,
of them.
I like One Piece. Right? So like, and me as Luffy, like honestly, like when I used to go to the gym or whatever, there's sometimes where I listen to the One Piece theme or whatever to help me
Yes.
work out and everything like that. To where I'm like, okay, Luffy's in this bad scenario, and then you know how the music gets like grim or whatever like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that helps me out like that. So like the niche that you're carving right now, it's needed in there because it's more as anime gets like picked up more and more to the
Oh
mainstream,
yeah.
quote unquote. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is exactly what it needs.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, and the music's a big one. That's actually what my first guest asked me. He asked me about, do you listen to game music when you work out? And to be honest, I do. I love those compilations you on YouTube. I think two good shouts for me for music for training. Halo and
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
good music.
Metal Gear Solid as well. It's very
Yes.
Oh
heavy
yeah,
orchestral.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
So
yeah.
getting outside of like content creation, are you starting mixed martial arts? So like what's happening there?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a thing as well. I thought it was relevant because obviously Creed is about boxing.
Yeah.
So I figured it was quite relevant. But on and off, see, with fitness, I've been super consistent, but I've always loved martial arts. Probably, you know, blame the Ninja Turtles, blame Power Rangers, blame Dragon Ball Z. It's probably why it's always been in my head. But I was always really nervous. So even when I got into fitness, I would stop and start a lot of clubs. So I'd learn a bit and then I'd stop, and I'd learn a bit and then I'd stop. So I got recently into mixed martial arts thanks to my cousin because he was already training there. But previously, I'd done a little bit of boxing. That was the first thing I tried, and then a bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of kickboxing. But I'd like to go to a club and then stop and start, like I just mentioned. But now I'm trying to be super consistent with it. And I think that martial arts as well is a big one. I don't want to talk about it too much on my channel because I don't know enough about it. You know, like I've got too much respect for the people who are like legit to really give advice. But the only advice I can give is that if you do find that even somewhat appealing, you should try and find a club because it's a really nice environment and it gives you even more reason to train yourself, you know, because you know you've got that motivation, you've got all the people in the club. They're very positive environments. There's this kind of stereotype with some people that they're like really rough and they're going to beat you up and like I've never been in one like that. I've never. Most of the time, they don't even let you spar until you're kind of ready. So, and if you want to, so it's not
So
that environment at all.
so also like you would want to make sure that you are like surrounding yourself with more positive people as well.
100, yeah, 100%. That's a good one. 100%, because I've never seen anyone negative in one of those places. Yeah, they're super positive. They push you forward, and it's safer than you think. You know, especially like the boxing, the kickboxing. Those gloves are huge. It's very, you're quite safe to be honest, safer than you might
Yeah.
think.
Right. Like my son used to do kickboxing and we
That's
signed him
cool.
up out here in
That's cool.
Japan, and it's
Yeah.
like as you watch him do it, even like when the adults are doing it, like it's safe, but it's kind of like motivates you to where it's like,
Mm.
before it's like, I don't know, man, I'm just speaking for myself too.
Yeah.
Or like before, it's like, all right, maybe if quick jab, quick punch, we're fine, and you're good to go. And like a brawl or something. But now people know so much stuff.
It's not
So it's
safe.
like for example, like if I'm in a bar, for example, and somebody has cauliflower ear. All right, I'm not going to mess with him. I was like, he knows too much. Still, I ain't going to bother. It's like it's like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Is like you never know what people know. So it's not that simple as I'm gonna just fight him. No, he might take me down,
Oh.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something. It's like
Oh.
my thing now. Cauliflower ear, he do wrestling, he do this. I ain't gonna mess with him.
Cauliflower ear. Yeah.
If he smack my girl on the ass, all right, you got it, homie. She got a good ass or whatever. Let's keep it moving. I don't want those problems. I don't want those
Thank you for the
problems.
compliment, sir.
Right. I appreciate it. Yes, I don't want those problems.
No, that's wise as well because a lot of the time as well, the fighters sometimes they don't look like they're not usually big, muscly guys. Sometimes
Right,
in the
right.
suits, in normal clothes as well. So you know, you don't know. You could be out like a light. And you mentioned the grappling stuff. When I first joined this MMA gym with my cousin, he'd been doing that for a few years. I didn't know anything about grappling at all. So I thought I'd be okay with the striking that I knew. It was no, it was
Right.
a whole new world, literally. And then what happens is you're really tentative and you're really scared to do what you know because you're like, well, I can try and kick him, but he's just going to grab my leg and he's just going to
Right.
throw me down anyway. What's the point?
Right.
Yeah, but you learn
So
as you
quick
go.
so let me ask you a question. So
Yeah,
I've done a little bit of boxing practice and like headgear stuff. So when I was doing this, I was doing the bags. I'm like, oh, I'm nice at this. My hands are moving.
yeah.
And the first time I sparred against somebody, that headgear, they rocked me. And I was like, this is
Oh,
it. I don't want to do this for fun anymore.
mm,
Why do you think or like once you get hit, what makes you keep going? Because after I got hit, I was like, this is it. I'm
yeah.
done. And I was like, 10 years ago. I was like, I'm never doing this
That's
again.
a shame, you know. Don't know. That's a real shame, and that might have been. I think you should get back into it really because that's a shame because that might have just been the club. That might have been the one guy who maybe didn't know how to hold back. It's a real shame, you know. But that can put people off 100%. I think I was maybe lucky because when I first started, they just built us up so slowly that you got used to it. So by the time you were getting hit, you were kind of almost ready. You never ready, but you were near enough. So but just to throw someone in, I don't think that's cool. And honestly, it happens in clubs all the time. But when we get a new person in, and I can't speak for everyone, but when I spar with them, I am super light and just hit me, you know, just like let's, you know. So that's a shame that that happened. I mean, maybe he didn't do it intentionally,
Yeah,
but
it wasn't intentionally, but it was just like me. It's me personally, where I was like, I gotta get hit like this. Nah,
yeah,
this ain't for
yeah,
me.
no, I understand, but you probably don't, and you know, you might have sparred another guy and it would have gone a lot better, and then yeah, it's not always like that. If it was, I probably wouldn't go. To be fair,
Right,
no,
right,
but you do
right.
get to it to a degree, and you get better defensively, so it happens less and less. When I first started going, I had like panda bear eyes. And that's hardly ever happening now because I'm not getting hit as much.
Hmm.
Little hack as well that my current teacher taught me. He said because I'm like his trying to block everything and overthinking it. He said just keep your backhand here, you know, with the glove on as well. I said that can't
Hmm.
work really, and everything almost just lands here. No, obviously you're moving at the same time. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. So that's what I go to now when someone's
Okay.
hitting me in the face.
So then also, on the outline here, you put geeky motivational characters, and we kind of touched on that a little bit, like
Yeah, I was just
um,
curious what yours
mhm.
were.
Well, because like Matt, he's mentioned Luffy a few times. Like Luffy is his dude.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I have it. I have them tattooed on my leg, and it's just the epitomize of a character that gets knocked down. No matter what happens, he's going to move forward and everything. So
that's great.
it was just especially for your comment. It was like to me, Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece is exactly that.
That's perfect. You know that's similar to why I like Batman
Hmm.
Hmm.
because he's like you know he's around all these superpowered characters. He's not superpowered, but he's just peak and he just never gives up, never lets go. Um, and yeah, it's just very motivating. That's cool. Is there anyone else? Is there anything else?
I mean, I
Uh,
personally like the idea of Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah,
well, more recently, anyone can wear the mask, but also just like, he's just some guy, and something
yeah.
happened to him, and he has a code, and he's doing the best he can with that code.
Do you remember the '90s Spider-Man
I
cartoon?
do. We were
That
talking
was
about that a
mine.
little bit earlier today because Matt mentioned that Madam Web movie, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the only reference I have for her is that 90s
Same.
cartoon.
Same. Yeah, she always popped up in that show.
Yeah.
She was always messing with him.
But yeah, that's like the only time, that's the only reference I know of her. Maybe that's
Like,
the only, well, I'm sure that's not the only time she's appeared in shows. It's just as we got older, we stopped watching the new stuff. So,
yeah, that's it. Because this Spider-Man was like my favorite growing up,
hmm
mainly from that interpretation. I don't think for me, because you like different things about different characters, and here's the thing now, obviously, that is why I've kind of tried to niche down to retro-y stuff,
hmm hmm
because loads of like more modern interpretations they might not be what you like about them. For me, I love that 90s Spider-Man so much still now because he was just so likable. Like he had the quippiness, but he wasn't like annoying. Like he wasn't like
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
pestering people, like being annoying. He was just like
Right.
really
It's a
chill
mixture
and
of Tobey
jovial.
Maguire, Andrew Garfield. It was like that. Those were the
Yes.
extremes. You need to push them together.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and he just had it
Yes.
all, and he was just really like, yeah. I mean, he wasn't afraid to get in a fight either, if he had to.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not like a huge fan of this. Might I hope it shouldn't be controversial, should it? But I'm not like a huge fan of like the more modern Spider-Man where he's got like loads of gadgets and
Mm.
tech.
Where he's baby Iron Man.
Thank you. Yeah, I say that
Basically,
to all
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah,
friends. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Everyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't like he's his own character. He doesn't need to. He doesn't really need that. He's got enough powers. He's got a pretty good like
Yeah.
range of powers. He doesn't really need all that. That's just my take, but that's maybe a more modern interpretation. But at the end of the day, you like what you like, you know. And who am I to say if someone enjoys that they shouldn't? Like that's great that you enjoy it at all. But it's
No, I
just
mean we are here to say it. We're critics. You know, we are here to tell you what you should and should not like. That's our job. We won an award
Exactly.
for it, okay?
Yes.
So, but just kind of transitioning very hard. So
yeah.
your I talked to you the other day and it was your wife's birthday, Matt. And what did
Yes.
you guys get into for her birthday?
We went into what in Nagasaki what they have like it's like a amuse park but kind of not. It's like a amuse park mixed with a botanical garden, what they call Hassenbosch. And Hassenbosch is like you know is it Denmark? What's the huh?
So is it like is
Huh?
this oh okay, sorry.
She's trying to tell me what it was, but it's not Denmark. But you know where they have like windmills and stuff, and it's beautiful outside. It's
Yeah.
basically, it's not, it's that Japanese version of that.
Is this like a not a chain, but like do they have other places
No,
like this?
no,
Okay.
this is the only one.
Because like when you were saying the name, like there's
Oh, go
a
man. Sorry, Netherlands. It's a Netherlands version of that.
okay. No, I was just thinking about like there's an amusement park. I cannot think of what it's where it is or what it's called. But it kind of has like a fairy tale German theme.
Hmm.
And like that I thought like maybe the same company owned the places.
Maybe the deep company owns the same thing, but as far as like quote unquote,
Efferling. Are you familiar, Jason?
No, no. Oh, I'm so out of my depth here. I was just I'm trying to learn something there.
that's okay because like it's and here it's called Hostenbosch, and like they got the hotels, they got the uh
I'm putting it in the Zoom chat and
mhm,
I'm sorry, editing chat. If you're looking at this on YouTube, you'll see me like scrolling through the website.
right, and it's basically they have different events. They have a water park. They have make sure you have the right thing.
Well, this isn't what you went to. This is what I was thinking.
Uh okay, okay. So, but basically they have a lot of stuff going on, and right now they have a no, they have a canal, like you know you see in like heist movies or things in France and Italy. You know the canals or whatever they go through. They have that through the amusement park, and we've done
Whoa,
that like, recreationally.
that's cool, man.
But now they have like part of it like carted off to where they're going to make an ice rink. And I can skate. Rollerblades, roller skates, I can ice skate. I mean skate. But I've never tried ice skating. So it was a wife's birthday a couple days ago. So we was like, let's try it. And we went out there and it turns out shit. I can ice skate.
Yeah,
It's just
actually, yeah, you sent me a video. Did you send it on Facebook?
yeah, messenger.
Yeah.
Okay, once more, YouTube people, you will be able to see that right now.
To bring it back to the movie, kind of obviously, it's created as like a Rocky spin-off. Was it like with the ice skating like the first scene in Rocky where they go on the date and one can ice skate? I don't know if you've seen the original
No,
Rocky.
I have, but it was kind of
Was it
like
like that?
it was where to where like it was kind of unexpectedly to where it's like I didn't know, we both didn't know. It was like we might all fall down out here, but we out here for love, and that's what it was. It was
We
like
That's
out
we
here
here
nice.
for
for love.
love,
That's
we out here for
nice.
love. So it
That's
wasn't
nice,
like if I
man.
fell down, she'll look at it and be like, never mind. Did I marry this man? No, it was all for love.
You can't do it all. Ice skating,
Right,
I wouldn't know where to
exactly.
start. I wouldn't know where to start.
Right, but it
That's
turns out I can ice skate, and I'm very good
cool.
at this.
Natural. That's great.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, like the ice skating rink, for the rules, either you have to bring your own gloves, like finger gloves and a
Yeah.
like knit cap. If not, then you have to buy one at the stand. So of course we brought our own, and when we got there, they gave us knee pads, elbow pads, and
Mm.
like a knit cap, but it was like padded. Basically, make sure you can fall forward. That's okay, but if you fall backwards on your head, that's not okay because the pad was in the back.
Oh wow,
So
everything then.
right, like they
Yeah.
and I get the glove thing because if you're falling down, you're hitting the ice or whatever, blah blah blah. So they make sure you wear your gloves. But yeah, so we had a good time out there. I didn't fall at all. We didn't fall at all. Um, and yeah, I can ice skate. So I'm like, now I'm about to venture out to where I really my dream is I want to snowboard. Now,
Oh,
I cannot skateboard at all. I've tried multiple times,
No, it's
but I feel like I know in my mind skiing is probably easier because you have the sticks or whatever.
yeah. Balance
But
yourself
uh,
out.
but maybe this is just the old man in me to where skiing is lame, snowboarding is cool, and
no,
I want
that's
Extreme.
true.
right
That's true.
extreme X Games type stuff to where I'm like, I want to learn how to snowboard. So this is my first journey. I'm like, okay, ice skating is cool. I mastered that. I ain't gonna say master that. I shouldn't say that.
I'm
I can
actually,
ice skate. I
yeah.
can't twirl and things as the figure skaters do. They're above us. Honestly, let me take a pause. What they do is honestly more harder than what like people like on regular floor do. It's slippery as ice. One millisecond of something like that can mess up the whole thing.
Hmm.
So I want to give a shout out to all figure skaters doing what they do. And now this is my first time experiencing it. Y'all doing God's work out there. Y'all, I give it to y'all. I can never twirling around and all this stuff
Yeah,
and
nice.
how fast they go. I'm in there like a rabbit trying to move it, make sure I don't fall down and stuff like that. So
That's
I
a
give
good
it to all
point.
figure skaters.
That's a good point as well, because some things are harder than you think. I remember once a few years ago, we went to do you know, like golf driving
Mm-hmm.
range.
Hmm.
I thought
Yes.
this is gonna be fun. We're just gonna be knocking these out of the park for an hour or so. I couldn't even, not
That's
once.
my that's my next goal. I miniature golf. I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah,
real golf. And that's another thing I want to try. Cause like, when you're watching it, it'd be like, it's not that hard to do that.
it's easy. Yeah, it's not, mate.
Do you know what? Do either you know what Top Golf is?
I'm
No,
familiar with it, but I've never done it.
no,
So
I'm
it's
not
like
sure.
it's a driving range.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So yeah, I went a few years ago with my cousins, and like I've only mini golfed, and so like the ball's just right there, just hit the
yeah,
ball, and like I couldn't
yeah.
even hit a ball that wasn't moving.
Hey, next time you go, I need you to
Chill,
record that.
I
yeah.
got you. There
Yeah.
might be video. I would have to dig because this is a few years ago. There might be video. No promises. I would have to dig to see.
And it's weird because like when you see stuff on TV, you be like, that's not hard. And then when you get out here, you be like, oh no, shit, this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do
Mm-hmm.
you know that's a testament to someone's skill, isn't it? They make it look easy, and it's not
Exactly,
until you try
100%.
it.
100%.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing to me was like hockey. When you like watch hockey on TV, you're like, oh, that's fine. And like the first time I went to a live hockey thing, not only is it like they're going so much faster on TV than
Yeah.
they're hitting so much harder. The slap shots are so much faster. It's like TV is not doing hockey justice. I don't know if we need to come out with a 23K or whatever for hockey, but
Yeah. Yeah.
TV is not doing hockey justice of how fast everything is moving.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think maybe when you're watching something through screens, like the club I go to now, what the trainer has started to do is he's got like security cameras, and what he started to do is like record the sparring footage and then send it to us on our group. And
Hmm.
obviously there's no sound or anything, and you have to like zoom in to see where you are. But because there's no sound, it really did like you could have been getting like absolutely pummeled. But when you watch it, it just looks like you're just tapping each other. It's like it takes
Right. It's
the
like,
edge
oh,
off it.
I was
Yeah,
taking it. I was taking it. I was
doesn't look like it though. Yeah,
good.
no, you're right.
So did you guys get into anything for Valentine's?
Uh,
uh, Funny story. So, work wise, this week I was on a how do I want to say this? I was on an offsite. Basically, they had department heads doing things, learning things, blah blah blah. I can't get into details, but fast forward to one of the guys came back from lunch, kind of late, and I was like, "Oh, what you up to?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I bought my wife flowers for Valentine's Day," and I was like, "Oh, I should be doing that." So now, fast forward to the end of the workday, we go to the store, and what do I
You and your
see?
wife go to the store?
No, I go back to the store by myself, but it
Okay.
turns out like four guys are in line that I was at my work thing with, trying to get flowers. And then I ordered my flowers. She's like, it's going to be like a 15-20 minute wait. So I'm like, okay, let me go over to the flower section. I mean, the card section to get a card. And there's three more guys over there from the same event. We was all on the same boat. We waited to the last minute to get this stuff. But yeah, I got cards and flowers, and she was surprised because I rarely get flowers for her. So it ended up being good.
that's a
Okay.
common one though, the lateness. Because funnily enough, I live where I live now. I'm right next to a flower shop, and sometimes this lady is like working through the night. But and my place is like right next to the door, so I'm like, wow. I just like popped my head in just before Valentine's Day. I was like, are you still working? She goes, well, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, and I've got more stock in for all the latecomers. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, all the people that I guaranteed to come in tomorrow, like
Hmm.
it happens every year. I was like,
Right,
I didn't
right,
think of
right.
that.
Are you dating or anything like that, Jason?
Do you know what? No, man, I'm on the search. I'm trying to find a good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you on the apps? Like, what's going on, man?
No, I tried the apps years ago when they were like relatively like newer, and I
Okay.
had such bad experiences that I never want to use them again, which is maybe a bit extreme because I know friends who have had like good results on the apps, but I think the myth of the apps is that they're time savers. But for
They
me, I don't
are.
think
They are.
they are, and they aren't though, because maybe you spend a lot of time like making a good profile, being on there. I don't know. I'm more old school. Like I like to talk to someone in person, and then you kind of have a gauge of them a little bit as well. Like I've had some bad experiences on those apps. Like maybe it just scarred me, so I'm not really using the app. Maybe I'm missing a trick. Probably am, but
Uh,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm married, so I'm about to stay out of this. But uh, Chad, you have any tricks or anything to help Jason
Tricks.
out?
On the apps,
What apps were you on?
this is years ago. I think there was only like obviously the main one is like Tinder, wasn't it?
I
And
mean,
then
but also like Tinder, that's for a specific. Well, it's not. You can use any of the apps any way you want, but like Tinder should is usually just a hookup app.
mm,
So like that's the kind of energy you'll sometimes get on there. Like now, mind you, there's been people that I've met on Tinder that I've like kept in communication with for like quite some time.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's all about the person. So
What's
Is
the
there
one?
an app for like if Tinder quote unquote is for like hookups, is there an app for like relationships, like people looking for relationships?
I think there is. What's that one that's the name escapes me. Is it Hinge?
Hinge, yeah, Hinge.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think I
okay.
tried that too, maybe
Yeah, that's
in its
where
infancy.
I met um that person that you met
Hmm. Okay.
in real
All right.
life.
But don't worry, Jason. Once this gets published, everybody gonna be out here looking for you. So, all
Yeah, yeah.
right, I know this. I'm about to do real conversation right now. But right now, Jason,
Yeah.
imagine we are technically we are a worldwide podcast. So, what are you looking for in a woman?
Oh wow, this is wow. I wasn't prepared for this.
Hey, and with this route, I have to go there.
That's fine. I'm ready to go, bro, with the punches and all that. To be honest, I'd like someone like I don't think you have to have everything in common, but someone like kind of a bit relaxed, like chilled out. I'm not looking for like a party animal or anything like that. Just someone kind of sweet, nice, you know. Um, I don't know, just someone pleasant to be around. Maybe you have a few. I think that's become more important as the years have gone on. Sometimes I'll go on a first date with someone and I'll just be like, no, the energy's not matching here. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
whereas when
Yeah,
I
I
was
One
do.
younger,
one
I do.
percent. Yeah,
I do.
yeah, yeah.
when I was
Okay,
younger, didn't
so
even.
what is your like are you somebody that would just like chat with people and then meet, or would you want to do a phone call before you actually meet them in person?
Usually, I usually end up meeting them via chatting and then get like, you know, the number or whatever the case may be. That's usually what I've been doing for the longest time. So yeah, I think if you've met in those circumstances, then you've already kind of done that.
Well, I
So
mean, like your chatting is different. Like, and I'm being cryptic on purpose. So, and you know I'm talking about you because you're listening to this. But the person you've met in real life, Matt, her whole MO is like we'll chat and then she wants to do like a video call
Mm-hmm.
before she actually meets. Cause like the video call energy is gonna be closer to the meet in person energy. But
Right,
good
now
right,
you're
idea.
not wasting like a night of getting ready and going out somewhere with somebody and the chemistry or whatever isn't there.
It's a
right.
good idea.
So
Yeah,
like I always commended her for that. I personally don't like that because like I just want to just let's just meet as soon as possible and see what's what. But that's a lot of time and energy and sometimes money wasted if you aren't feeling the other person.
yeah,
Right.
that's true. But like I said, like usually I've met under those circumstances because my refusal to use the apps, which I may be shooting myself in the foot for. But so I've kind of already done that. I don't think that's a bad thing. But I've kind of already done that bit. So yeah, usually something like the first date is really usually super like chilled out, relaxed, nothing major. I find, you know, nothing extreme.
Hmm.
So that's just my go-to. And then it's more about the person, isn't it, than what we're doing. And then obviously if it goes well, then next few times maybe you do something a bit more adventurous if you liked. But honestly, I think that's a good metric. If you're just doing like normal stuff, like if you're just going coffee shops or going for walks and stuff, and that's like more than fine, then I think you've got a good one there. You
Oh
know, it's
yeah.
not the we'll have to do this and we have to do that. Like that's fun and all, but you know, you should be just happy in the company. I think.
Well, it's all about, the energy that you want to put into it, right? Like,
Hmm.
Right.
the first date I had with my ex-wife, we went to the gun range because
That's cool
neither one
though.
of us had done that before. And so it's just like, yeah, yeah. But the first
That's
date
good.
I had once more with the person that you met in real life, Matt, when you were here a few years ago, we just got, Mexican food and kept it moving.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all about the individual, the vibe, and everything like that. Whatever the person you meet up with, though.
Right.
Yeah, and
But
sometimes it's not even personal. Like you just know that probably someone's not on your wavelength, and it's nothing personal or anything like that. But I think over the years you get a better read on that, so you
mhm.
Yes.
maybe know that quicker than maybe you
Hmm.
did when you in your 20s, perhaps. You know,
Right.
it
No,
takes
I
less
agree.
time.
Because, like, I can see that, like, once you meet up with somebody, you be like, nah, this ain't it. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, it's just, all right, it was nice meeting you. It's nothing between us, but, like, and we got to depart ways. It's just, we got to
Yeah,
keep it moving.
Well, a lot of
yeah,
times
yeah.
people don't even tell you that.
That's the issue, isn't it? Like, yeah, if everyone was more like us, they'd be fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where the issues come in. I think people don't want to say, or they kind of maybe lead people on, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, and it just gets a whole big mess.
Yeah.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah,
But
no need for it.
so I do want to talk about so for Valentine's I upgraded my mom's phone for her.
To
And
what, to what?
So we did like a pair down system in our household. So before my daughter was born, Samantha upgraded her iPhone 8 to the iPhone SE. And so
Mm-hmm.
we gave my mom her old iPhone 8. And
Mm-hmm.
then when Samantha went from the iPhone SE to the iPhone Mini, we gave my mom the SE because it's basically the same phone, just like newer innards.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to like, plus up her life. And also she was doing this annoying thing where it's like, oh yeah, put your finger on the button here to like do the fingerprint unlock stuff. But she would press it. And I'm like, stop pressing it. Just place your finger on it.
Right,
So
right.
I got her one with Face ID. So I was on Marketplace and I found a decent price for one, a 13, just a regular 13. And so like I would go to the place to meet the guy, and it's like it's an older guy. And so it's his phone. So it's like it's not like I bought a new phone and like I'm selling my old phone. He was just selling his current phone. So like I get there and he's wiping it as we're there. And then he's like, "Do you have like something to take the SIM card out?" And I was like, "No, you didn't tell me that. Like how am I supposed to know this?"
You get a
So
paperclip. Just get a paperclip. You be fine.
it's not like I got one in my car, Matt.
Right, right.
So we go to like a hard there's the parking lot where we're at. We go to like a hardware store and we just walk in there and like he just walks up to like a box of nails and just opens it right there. I'm like, what's happening right now? He just opens it, pops the SIM card out, hands me the phone, and just puts it back on the shelf. I'm like, okay,
All
okay,
right.
this is
We good.
happening. Yeah.
We're good.
So like, I get home and making sure it's updated, and I'm like, oh, this guy smokes. Cause like you can't tell outside, but like you inside your home, and like my home doesn't smell like cigarettes or anything like that. So like I'm just smelling that. It's just like when I bought that. Every time I buy recording equipment from the internet, the seller is a smoker. Like that
Hey
microphone I
man,
bought, like
those artists got to get they
yeah, yeah.
whatever they need from those cigarettes. That's how they get their motivation.
And so I don't know
Is that
what it
making them
is.
motivation?
Yeah.
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 But I don't know what it is about wires, but they just absorb smoke smell. And it's like I've always had the throwaway wires because he gave me like the like a charger, and he even gave me like a case for it too. And I had to toss both of them because like they just absorbed the smoke smell. And
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this out. But
Yeah, how do you get it out? Like, I wouldn't know either. Like,
I mean, because like airing it out kind of helps, kind of, but not really.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I just threw the wire in the case away. But so, next day she comes over and we're setting everything up. And like my thing with my mom is like she's impatient. Like she doesn't really like quiet. She doesn't like there's just idle time. So I'm just like sitting there, the phone's plugged up to the computer because like I backed up her old phone, so it's up, inserting the new data, her backing up her stuff from her old phone. And we're just sitting there watching the progress bar, and she's just looking. She's like, okay, so you need me to do anything? I'm like, nope. We are just sitting here
Wait.
waiting on this to finish. But overall it's a good experience. Like she really likes, Face ID and, not having to touch stuff like to confirm her identity or whatever, like when she goes into her apps. So far so good. So far so
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. You gotta look after your folks as well. That's good though.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
general, that's a
Older
good.
people in technology is so annoying. You're an Android guy, right?
But yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'm mad at Apple for this, like where like if you send like if you're well you're I guess it doesn't fully apply to you because you're a WhatsApp person because like that's what you guys use over there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So like we use whatever text app is on the phone. That's what we
Okay,
use in
right.
America. It's different in different places because like in Japan they have an app similar to WhatsApp that they use. But
Oh, okay.
Called live.
yeah. So like
Um,
here it's like it's iMessage and whatever else any of the Android people use. And so like the thing is like when you send videos from iMessage to any Android person, the video is going to look super distorted because Apple is stupid because they want you to
Oh,
just to buy an
really?
iPhone. So like
Oh my
the so I'm at a point where I don't know how to have this conversation with my mom where I'm like if I send you videos of my daughter doing something cute, don't send it to certain people because it's going to look like shit. I don't know how to have that conversation with her.
Why
That's a
is it
tricky one.
saying? Why are these pixels like this?
Right, but the thing is, she doesn't know that because it looks fine on her end. But
Right,
the
but
our Android
Yeah.
relative should see this like video like the size of a postage stamp
right.
that's fuzzy. So I don't know how we
But
have this conversation.
it's like for her, it's like ignorance is bliss, isn't it? It's like she thinks she's just
Right.
sending nice pictures. There, like, why is she sending me this?
Right.
That's if you want.
So I don't know. Apple's supposed to be getting it together, on the next big update. They're supposed to like stop that, but we'll see. But
Seems like a
anyway,
big thing, yeah.
Apple being Apple. But anyway, that takes us to this week's discussion of Creed.
This picture's from the 10th round of the first fight, right? I heard about a third fight between you and Apollo. Behind closed doors. That true?
How do you know all this?
I'm his son.
You're not built for this. These boys coming here, they gotta fight for life. People die in the ring. Your daddy died in the ring.
See this guy here? That's the toughest opponent you're ever gonna have to face. I believe that's true in the ring, and I think that's true in life. Now show me something.
Former world heavyweight champion Rocky Balboa serves as a trainer and mentor to Adonis Johnson, the son of his late friend and former rival Apollo Creed. So I want to open up by asking, has everyone seen this movie before?
Yeah,
Yes.
multiple times.
Okay, so
Yes.
we're
I
all
watched it
coming back
again,
to it.
and I appreciate the
I,
opportunity
I
to
I
watch
would
it
I would
again.
hope that you rewatched it. We got to have a relevant conversation, man. So, overall, what were your thoughts on the film? Positive, negative, spoilers. Have at it.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I liked it. I liked it more than when I initially saw it at the cinemas, back in 2015.
Hmm.
I thought it was just a really well done film overall. It's very much, I am a bit of a Rocky fan, so I thought it was like a worthy successor.
Okay.
Um, what I found funny as an English person when I first watched it, but not as funny when I watched it last night because I think he did a pretty good job. But the antagonist, Pretty Ricky,
Hmm.
is a legit English like boxer from Liverpool,
Yeah.
Tony Bellew, who was pretty good. And I just couldn't take it. I think it's the accent. When I first saw it, like the Liverpool accent doesn't really lend itself to like a cinematic movie, and it was kind of comedic. I was like, oh man, I couldn't take him seriously, right?
Did
But
you
when I
think
watched,
that he was putting on an accent or
no, I think he was just amping up the one that he had a little bit.
okay.
But when I watched it last night, I actually thought, wow, that he did a pretty good job. And some of the colloquialisms made me laugh like out loud. Like I don't know if you remember, like when they're fighting, like in the middle of the fight, and it's not going his way, and he's like, and his trainer's telling Pretty Ricky's like, just like stay away from him, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm gonna smash this kid to bits. That is like such a colloquialism. It made me laugh out loud. I never
That's
expected to
funny.
hear that in a Rocky movie ever.
No, but with Rocky movies, they do try to keep it like the antagonist usually is someone from another place sometimes, like, so
Good point.
you hear a little bit of that.
A good point. But I didn't expect it to be so close to my
Yeah.
side of the pond
Yeah.
because
Right.
one, England's a small place, straight one, but then that part of England is an even smaller, well-known place. When a
Mhm.
lot of people think of England, they think of London and they think of like people who are quite well-to-do, but that is like that's kind of half of it. So that always makes me laugh. But I think he did a good job. Honestly, I watched it again. I was like, he did a good job in that role. I enjoyed
The
it.
the Pretty Ricky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't think it's the first time they've used real boxers in a Rocky movie. He's done it two or three times.
Yeah, like
In
later on, I know I'm not sure about the first couple, but I know later on in the series they
Yeah,
used real boxers.
Rocky Balboa, which is the sixth one. Probably for some reason that's my favorite one. I think it's just got so much heart to it. even though a lot of my favorite characters are dead, like Mickey's
Mm-hmm.
dead, Apollo's dead, like it shouldn't be my favorite, but I know it's got a lot of heart to it, and they used I think it was Anthony Tarver, I think it was in that, and he did a good job too. So yeah, and Rocky Five they used someone as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Later on, he started to do that.
Right.
Matt, what you think of this
Oh,
movie?
overall, like just like Josh said, like I enjoyed it the first
Josh,
time.
don't do
I
that.
mean,
Don't.
sorry, Jason, go man. Sorry,
I was too polite to
Jason.
correct you. But...
Right. As Jason said, I was like, I agree. Like I enjoyed it the first time. Like me watching it now, I appreciate more things to where like when I watched it the first time, it was like, oh, this is a nice movie.
yeah.
But now as I'm watching it now, it's like this is a nice what's the word I'm looking for? This is like a nice like love letter to the
Mm.
old Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
It accompanies all the oldness of the Rockies, but also let them know like, hey, we're about to transition to some new stuff. So
Mm,
like, I really appreciated that. That
yeah.
how like the Mickeys, the Grays, him talking about the past. Like, I really enjoyed this. Like, honestly, like probably now. Honestly, I got emotional in this, and that's just me being old age and life and everything else like that to when certain things happen, like especially the stuff with Rocky and his situation and things of that
Oh,
nature. But it was just like if I would have watched this like we say 5, 6 years ago, oh, good Rocky movie. But now I'm like,
mm,
oh, emotionally, did you see Rocky go through the cancer and there's like all this
yeah.
other stuff to where like it hit me a lot more than when the last time I watched this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. That's a good point. And do you know what really ruined it when it came out? I don't know if you
Oh,
remember the trailer. I remember the trailer, right? It's such an unnecessary edit in the trailer. It's your typical kind of trailer. Yeah, this looks good. And then for no reason at all, right near the end of the trailer, is like, guys, Rocky's sick, and it shows you Rocky in a hospital bed. So I was like, what the hell? So
right.
when I went to see it, I was just I couldn't fully. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it so much. I was just waiting for Rocky to be sick. I was like, oh, this. Do you know, like waiting for like a sucker punch? You're like, oh no, when's it gonna
Right,
happen? I
exactly.
was
They
waiting
should have
for it.
said that nothing at all.
Yeah, and then that would have shocked me because that's hard to watch.
Exactly.
Those scenes are
Yeah,
quite hard to watch.
it is. It's just like, especially like, you know, everybody knows Rocky as Rocky, the
Yeah,
superhuman, and then for
yeah,
him to go something that he can't control, it's heart wrenching. Like that, you gotta watch him do this, and well, first you gotta watch him not be like, no, fuck it, I'm about to just ride this out, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
XYZ happens to where it's like, no, I'm about to fight this through. So like the movie didn't really like it wasn't like they didn't play the violins for it, but you still feel that they're playing the violins for it.
It is a bit more grounded. Yeah, it's a bit more
Yeah.
realistic. The bit I found really hard to watch every time is when they fall out. I don't like it when they fall out. You know, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, we're not a real family. I was like, oh no, can you be friends again? I
Yeah.
don't like that bit. It's well done, and you need some tension there. But I was like, oh, come on, man.
So, the first time I saw this movie many years ago, I was like, this is pretty good. Like, even to this day, like, I've only seen Rocky Balboa. Like, I've never seen the other movies, the other Rocky movies.
Oh,
And I was like, this is pretty good. Like, it's this is what a legacy sequel should be, right? Where,
Yes.
I personally don't want to see a continuation 20, 30 years later of a character and they're doing the same shit that they used to do, right? So it's like we have our
yeah,
Indiana Jones and we're about to have Beverly Hills Cop 4 where however much time has passed since the last movie and we see our protagonists still doing the same shit that they were doing when they were younger. But in this one, Rocky, unlike Rocky Balboa, Rocky is not going to get back in the ring. He is in a more of a mentor role. He's a supporting character. And so like I appreciate like the movie does it like it's probably what maybe like 20 minutes before we first meet Rocky in this movie
oh
because
yeah,
Right.
it's like This is a movie set in this world. This is not a movie starring Rocky. And I appreciate that from a
No,
storytelling perspective.
100%. Like we know this in the same universe, and that how he is just he exists in this universe, and for what we're doing, we need him. But they didn't do him dirty in this. Like they protected him, as they say, and his legacy and everything in this to move forward. It wasn't
Right.
like once we got done with this, it wasn't like, oh man, I want to see Rocky in this. No, it was
Right.
like he did exactly his job, what he needed to do in this.
Or it's not some shit where it's like we killed Rocky in the first 2 minutes,
Oh,
and
don't.
now,
What
and
the hell?
now son of Rocky is coming to defend his name,
Hate
Right.
that.
So so I
You hit on
appreciate
something
it.
deep there. I hate that. Yeah, that's so annoying.
And like as you're watching the movie, you can tell like Ryan Coogler was a fan of Rocky, and like he got an opportunity to like continue the story, and it's like you feel the love on the screen, right?
Right.
I will say that I don't like some of the story structure bits. Like, we've got like, well, actually, let me keep it nice. I really like this. I really like that continuous shot of that fight, that first fight he has of Adonis
Mhm.
has, where it's like there are no cuts and the camera is just frenetic and it's in the ring. And there's parts where you're kind of looking at the audience because the camera didn't move, but the fighters did move until the camera's like, oh wait, I gotta get back in. I gotta keep somebody in frame and shit like that. It's like I really
Mhm.
like the camera work of that scene. But I'm not really a fan of like how we have his first big fight and then Rocky goes to the doctor and they're like, hey man, hey bro, let's oh he passes out. They're training and he
Mm,
passes out. And then the next scene is like he's back at the gym, training with Adonis, and he gets the phone call and they're like, "Sir, you have cancer." And then the next scene is him being like, "I don't want to fight cancer." And then the next scene is Adonis like, "What do you mean you don't want to fight cancer?" And it's like these scenes shouldn't be so close together in the movie.
mm,
I get you that. I get that, but on the flip side is it did make sense as far as storyline. The Rocky storyline.
Right. I'm just saying like the placement of it. I'm not saying
Okay,
he
okay.
can't get I'm not saying he can't get sick. I'm just saying like these scenes should not be one after
Right.
another
It
because they're
cause yeah,
redundant.
I got you. I got you. I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
good
Okay.
point.
But yeah, like they should have spaced it out because then it would have like I was saying, like in the Rocky story arc,
Hmm.
it makes sense of what he was saying. But what you're saying is just back to back to back. They should have
Right.
spaced it out. Right, I
Yeah,
see what
like
you're saying.
if it's gonna be back to back, then some of that has to go because it is redundant. Like if he ends up changing his mind, so like there's no point in having a scene where he's like, I don't want to do it, and then immediately afterwards, what do you mean you don't want to do it? And then immediately after that, we're gonna fight this together. Like,
Mm,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's redundant if you have those scenes right next to each other.
I got you.
But no,
have you
overall,
guys?
hmm?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. What's up?
I was just gonna ask if you guys have seen the sequels.
I've
Yes.
not seen the second one. Like, so my
Ooh,
thing was like, I
Chad, what I tell you about the second one?
I don't remember.
what did you tell him?
Uh you as
Mhm.
a father and how you feel about
Oh, right,
daughters,
right,
you were not
right.
like I cried multiple times in the second one.
Yes, okay. I remember now because like when I saw the third one. And yeah, I do remember you telling me that. So like my thing was this, like I'm a fan of Ryan Coogler. I've seen all of his motion pictures. I've not seen any short films he's done. And I wasn't a fan of that he didn't come back to do the second movie. And so like I just didn't see it. But then with the third one, we were all swept up into like, oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan's directing, and we have America's sweetheart at the time, Jonathan Majors. And so
At
I
the
was
time,
like,
yes.
so I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. And so like there were some elements where I'm like, huh, maybe I should have saw that second one because like y'all referencing some stuff and I don't know what's happening.
Nah, you got to see the second one. Like it puts, like you said, as a father, It gets in your feels about what he has to deal with. But overall, it's still a good movie though.
Yeah, I feel like we'll come back to the second one sometime this year. Like maybe over this maybe well, maybe not summertime, but this we will do the second movie this year. Another one other complaint. One other complaint. So I did not like the music that Tessa Thompson was doing in this movie. Like when she was like, "Hey,
Oh yeah.
listen to this this music on my Sony Ericsson phone." Or I'm like, we don't have those in this country. But and I'm like, "Oh, this movie is trash. Like, are you saying it's good because you're trying to fuck? Like, what's happening here?"
Oh, the music. Yeah.
Well, we talking about like I thought it was alright.
You thought it was all
It,
right.
it, it, it wasn't it was a jaw dropping. It was like she's performing in local bars and stuff like that. You don't think it's good for these local bars? You think it's
No,
beneath these local bars?
I think her character I don't think her character was good in this movie. Like her music, not the character itself, just the music she was producing. I don't think that shit was good. The few things we heard, I wasn't feeling it.
You
I
weren't
thought
feeling
it was I thought it was average.
it.
I thought it was for where she was. You performing in these local bars, bars and nightclubs. I thought it was sufficient for that because if it was crazy, then she would be performing in these local nightclubs.
There's
Mm,
lots of people with talent that aren't famous.
true.
So true, but also, do you want to put in like maybe she's losing her hearing, so maybe the hits wasn't hitting.
It sounded good to her. Is that what you say?
I mean, that could be a possibility.
It's an interesting, yeah,
That's
take.
okay. I didn't think of it that way, but maybe they'll go into the music a little bit more in the second.
No, the second one's sad. I ain't gonna lie to you. The second one's
That's
sad.
she's not singing in that one.
Well, I ain't gonna tell you that part's sad, but there's a very
Oh,
sad
wait.
scene.
Are you saying her music is sad? This one where like that shit is not good.
No, I'm just saying there's a
Change
very
genres.
sad scene in the second one. That's all I'm saying. There's a
We'll
very
we'll
sad scene.
we will
Well,
re
I'll take it back. It was a very sad scene for me as a
we'll
father.
we'll look into the second one later this year.
Cool.
But what do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes was on Creed 2015?
I think
Uh,
Yeah,
Go
go.
ahead,
I
Jason.
Stop
Josh,
that,
Josh
Jason.
again.
I said Jason.
You said
Oh,
Josh.
sorry, Matt.
No,
No,
no, because no, look,
I heard Josh.
our cousin from across the pond, Josh. We're so used to that.
I've
So,
heard those episodes actually.
Jace. I
I've heard
apologize. I apologize sincerely.
well, look, I've heard those episodes, so I understand the confusion.
Right.
It's
All right,
all good.
Go ahead, Jason.
go
Uh,
ahead, Cage.
Johnny Cage. That's gonna
Johnny
make
Yeah.
me
Cage,
remember
yes,
better.
I wish. Yeah, I think maybe high 60s, maybe 70s.
Matt,
I don't remember anything negative about this movie from the public, so I'm gonna go 80.
95%
Oh
Oh,
damn.
with an 89% audience score. I mean, like I said, I was like my intro is a little cynical, but like I was very surprised that, the internet wasn't outraged by this.
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's
But
because it was just a well done movie? Maybe.
well, you know good and well that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Good
Right.
point.
I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, because, if we're about to do a Rocky Balboa quote unquote movie and then
Continuation, yeah.
continuation with a black man, I can see how they would do it. But I mean, that means that's kudos to Ryan Coogler that he was able to put it off that all sides were agreement. And honestly, he pulled it off masterfully.
No, it was a really good film. Like filmmaking wise, like I just had that one issue with like story structure, but like everything, it felt like this is just another adventure in this world that,
Right.
Sylvester Stallone established.
And then like I appreciate that from him going to LA. And then you see like one thing I liked is that they incorporated the world that Rocky did his thing in Philadelphia is different the Philadelphia is different than the Creed one. The motorbikes and all the other stuff. I liked how the language, the Johns and stuff like that. I liked how it's still Philly like it was before, but now it's Philly in
It's a different part of
2000,
Philly,
2015 now versus wherever they
the
did Philly or
70s and
whatever like
80s
that.
show.
Right. And so I liked how that incorporated the real timeness of it.
Yeah.
So this week's trivia was different, but I had to think on my feet because Jason fucked it up unintentionally because the question was gonna be how many Rocky movies are there? But then he's all like, so, and Rocky 6 just now. It's like, okay, well, okay.
Rookie 1623.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So, my
Sorry, man.
question, and Matt, you answer this first. In which Rocky movie did Apollo Creed die in?
This is an
And
easy one for you, Matt. Easy.
I can I get options? I either know it's either two or three.
what do you
Rocky
mean
one,
options? It's just a number.
but
Just
I don't.
tell me
It's
which
either two
number.
or three because I want to say two, three. He
Higher,
goes
higher, higher.
four, four. Wait, there's more. All right, then maybe I'm
There,
completely
Oh, yeah.
maybe
there are
I'm completely wrong.
there are six Rocky movies.
Six Rocky movies. Okay. Uh, so in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Rocky does this thing. I don't know. Fuck, he fights in the first one, but then the second one he fights Apollo.
He fights Apollo Creed in the first one.
Really?
That's what he loses
And
to.
loses very
So that
close.
means in the second one.
He wins.
It's a retread of the first one.
So then the second one he fights Apollo Creed again,
And wins.
It's a retread.
and then
Yeah.
wins. So then the third one he fights the Russian, right?
No, he fights Mr. T.
Stop.
All right, now you must. All right, I have no idea. All right, repeat the question again. Damn.
In which Rocky movie did Apollo Creed die in?
Then I want to say five.
And there's six Rocky movies.
I want to say five.
Okay. So you want to tell him, Jason?
It's four. It was four.
So in the third one he fights Mr. T, and the fourth one is Apollo Creed. And Apollo Creed kills sorry. In the fourth one he fights Drago, and that's Drago kills Apollo in the ring.
The guy from the second Creed movie as well.
Yeah.
All right, then maybe I need to watch these Rocky movies because I have no idea.
You need to watch the third one again. The third one's amazing.
So like that's like I don't know, like I've only seen the sixth Rocky movie, but like whenever I think of like Carl Drago, I always assume he was in the second one because like he's like such a big entity in the franchise, you
Yeah.
That's
know?
what I'm saying. Like I don't. I guess because I never knew who he fought in the first one, so I assumed he fought Apollo Creed in the second one, and then my mind in the third one, that's when he was like, "Well, let him die."
Mm-hmm.
The
So
third
I
one,
didn't know he fought Apollo Creed in the first one.
Yeah,
the
because
third
he's the
one.
heavyweight champion or something like that.
Yeah, in the third one, it's more about he's the champion. It kind of lets it go to his head a little bit, and then Apollo is the one who trains him in the third one, and they
Mm-hmm.
become like really good friends. And then that's really horrible in four when he kills him off. I
Yeah.
thought it was a bit unnecessary, actually, to be honest. Maybe he could have been like crippled or something. I don't know, to kill him. I thought it was a bit much. Such a good
So
character.
like you know how we did the Indiana Jones, maybe we need to do a later on in the year do a anthology of all the Rocky movies or something like that. Just
I wouldn't mind
apparently
that.
we've
Yeah.
never seen none of these.
All right, that then we'll do that. Instead of Creed 2, we'll put that on pause and we will start a rewatch of the Rocky films.
Right.
Okay.
They're great. They're great.
Let's do a little trivia dump. So while training, Adonis wears a t-shirt with the message, "Why do I want to fight? Because I can't sing and dance." This is a line from Rocky to Adrian on their ice skating date in the first movie. Michael B. Jordan gained 24 pounds of muscle by working out 2 to 3 times a day, 6 days a week, I adhered to a strict diet for almost a year, and since he didn't have a body double, he had to learn how to box in preparation for this role. And the last one. This is the first Rocky film that Sylvester Stallone did not write. Ryan Coogler penned the script along with Aaron Covington. They both consulted Stallone while developing the story in order to nail down Rocky's voice.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, that's the show. Jason, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a
Likewise.
minute since we first started chatting to now, so I appreciate you bearing with us. Like I think we started talking like maybe December, and honestly,
Yeah.
that's kind of a time when we're on autopilot because like both our birthdays are in December. We got the
Oh,
holidays. We don't really want to work. And when I say
well,
work, do this because
Right.
like what Matt is what are you, 14 hours ahead?
14.
Yeah, so with Matt's time schedule, like there's like maybe like two times in a week that we can record, you know. And so it's
of course,
like we try to just knock that out as quickly as possible in December because like we don't want to fucking be doing this on a Saturday.
I mean, it's a
Um,
double whammy because it's your birthdays and it's Christmas.
right. So
Yes.
it's
Crazy.
kind of
Yes.
yeah. And so then January is when we're like getting back to speed of like, all right, well, let's get
Let's
back
go.
into the flow.
Let, let's get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
That's
So like,
it.
February is when, we're getting loose, we
Yeah.
we've been, consistent the last couple weeks. So yeah.
Good.
So yeah, but yeah, man, we had fun tonight. It's really nice to finally like speak to you. And if these numbers looking right, you'll be back.
If these numbers, it's all, yeah, I get it. I get it. I won't do it
So
personally.
please, please promote your channel.
Oh,
Promote
sorry. I was
promote your
waiting. I was
channel.
looking at Matt like, come on, Matt, promote your channel.
Hey, we should talk pod at gmail.com. We on YouTube.
Right now, Matt's done. I'll go. Yeah. So basically, it's like we touched on it before. It's fitness, but it's fitness for very specific people. More retro, more retro geeks, more retro gamers. But honestly, if you're having trouble with fitness and you're quite motivated by Dragon Ball Z, different series, different games, then I've got quite the antidote because, fitness doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be awful. It doesn't have to be brutal. I've done it for years, so I know exactly what works and in what moderation. So, yeah, I'm trying to make it a bit more fun and a bit more palatable.
What's the link or
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, things of that
Yeah.
nature,
What?
website?
Yeah,
You never at one point said your handle.
Where can they find you at?
How
I'm
can
the
they find
worst.
your page,
I'm
man?
the worst promoter ever. I need you guys on the case. Yeah, the name is Millennial Muscle, which so it's Millennial Muscle 22. It should be Millennial Muscle 22 on Instagram, on YouTube, and on my site as well. So that's how it find me. Also, because we talked about struggling in the gym earlier, I am giving away as well it's like a free ebook. It's basically what it does is it breaks down every part of the body, so like shoulders, chest, back, legs, everything, abs, and it just really condenses everything. So it's like 3 exercises, why they work, links to video tutorials. It's just to get people started in the gym. So when they go to the gym, if they want to build muscle, they don't have to be confused or intimidated. Like they've got a plan that will work or some idea of the exercises that will work. And that's totally free and that's on my website. So I'm just trying to get people to a point where they have a little bit of knowledge, and so they're not as intimidated about jumping into this.
Right.
And
So, all
yeah,
right. So, everybody out there, if you guys are tired of looking like me, go hit up Jason. All right. He going to get you right. All right. And I'm tired of looking like me too. So, we'll figure some things out. But yes,
man,
we'll
you're
have the.
almost there, Matt. You're almost there. You've done it before.
I've
You've
done
done
it
it.
before. I just got to get back. I got to
Do it
get
again.
back.
You'll do it again.
Right. So we'll have his links, everything in the show notes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
thank you. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. Seriously.
it. It was great. Good luck.
And thank you for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. It's a thing. We don't use it, but we have one at We Used to Talk Pod. Follow me on Letterboxd at BOW1213 and Matt at Mr. King 0257. Come back next week when we review Eve's Bayou.
And I don't know if this is a good episode. I don't know if it was a bad episode. But whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.